Joe Biden, President of the United States of America, he came public and calling Chinese president a dictator.
Well, look, he is. I mean, he's a dictator in the sense that he is a guy who runs a country that is a communist country that is based on a form of government totally different than ours.
Don't be afraid of the dark. Be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you, baby. Don't let them rain on your spark.
What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. I think I finished my juice. I feel great, fellas. I feel really good. I mean, look at my tablet. Almost finished. Awesome stuff, and really thank you for your prayers. For those of you who prayed for me, for real, I'm very grateful. I'm seeing it, I'm feeling it, I feel strong. It's going very fast, it's amazing. It's so good to have people you can... I know most of you don't know me, you've never met me, but I know you can feel. You can't stop that thing, that's feeling, vibration. That's how I function. I function about vibrations. I look at somebody and I go, I don't like this person. And trust me, after 3 months, you'll hear stories. Oh, the guy, you remember the guy you didn't like? Yeah, he was involved in thievery and yeah, it's usually like that. Yeah, he did some really horrendous things. Yeah, that's me. I feel people. It doesn't matter whether you look good or not. It's just one ability that have never disappointed me in any sort of relationship. It's just so accurate. It's like magic. I will feel you, I'll talk to you, I'll say hi to you, I'll discuss with you a little bit, and I know. Yeah. Thank you very much for choosing us again. This is your first time. Thank you. I love you too. Please subscribe so we can see each other every day. I think it's going to be nice. We see each other every day, right? We want big family. So today we're talking about Joe Biden. Joe Biden, President of the United States of America, he came public and calling Chinese president a dictator. He's a dictator. Isn't that irresponsible? Calling the Chinese president a dictator. I mean, China is not Uganda. So US Joe Biden said on Wednesday he believed Chinese President Xi Jinping is a dictator. Even as the two leaders made progress in their relationship during a meeting outside San Francisco. So they have made progress. China and the US is not in a very good position. And you can understand why. It's the fight over power. Now, Joe Biden comes forward and says, you know what? Xi Jinping is a dictator. A dictator. Well, look, he's a dictator in the sense that he is a guy who runs a country that is communist. A communist country that's based on form of government totally different than ours. Biden told the CNN. I mean, American presidents have done many things, but I don't remember who was called the Chinese president dictator. But I mean, why would you blame Joe Biden? I mean, look at the man. He's not himself anymore. Shouldn't somebody stop him? Like, Joe, stop it! He's a dictator. Why? A dictator because he runs a country that is communist. A country that is based on a form of government totally different than ours. So what do we sense there? Ours is good. Okay? If you run your country in our style, you're good. If you allow men to be with other, you're good. If you don't do it, they're going to treat you like Uganda. Remember? They call the Ugandan president communist. Communist or dictator? Yeah, one of the two. Dictator, surely. That's what they do with African president. As soon as an African president decides to fight for his people, decide to prioritize his people, he's a dictator. He's dangerous for his people. That's what they did to Gaddafi. You heard of Gaddafi, right? Muhammad Gaddafi. Great man. Great man. Worked very hard for his country in Libya at the time of Gaddafi. Surely there was no democracy as you know today. But people were very happy. I mean, you needed just money to start a business. The government will give it to you. Let's say you want to be an agriculture, a farmer. Government will give you not just the money, they will give you equipment and they'll give you a trainer, a coach, somebody to teach you how to do these things. That was Gaddafi. They called him a dictator. Gaddafi was the guy that ran a country that was dry. Libya was completely dry. There was no source of water. And he went and dug from the sea and imported water in the country. In the biggest irrigation project ever. They called him a dictator. They say he's dangerous for his own people. We need to take him out. Yeah. Libya was a country where when a man marries a woman, the government gives you $5,000. Congratulations. Libya was a place where a man marries a woman, government gives you a free apartment. Stay there. No need to pay. Libya was a country where petrol or fuel or gas, or however you call it, was almost free. Libya was a country where nobody paid tax. In your country, you think they use tax to keep up infrastructure. No, absolutely not. Not in your country. Not in your country. Look at your country. Look at the roads. Look at the state of homeless people. Look at the state of the people. Yeah, they're not doing the job. Sorry. There are some few countries in Europe, Northern Europe or Scandinavia, that really uses tax appropriately, but not your country. The tax money is used for other things, for private things. So, Xi Jinping is a dictator, according to our friend Joe Biden. After he went on a rant against the Ugandan president, telling him he's not going to benefit from all, AGOA. AGOA, remember AGOA? AGOA is the scheme where African countries can go to the United States with their goods, go and sell with very low price or very low tax or zero tax, meaning you as an African country, if you have things to produce, you have things to export, you could export to the United States of America at very low tax. Okay, so they kicked out Uganda because the people of Uganda chose to be like Saudi Arabians in terms of that, meaning you cannot be with another. That's the culture.
Bill was passed yesterday and we are very happy as citizens of Uganda. Culturally, we don't accept the lesbian, LGBT. We cannot, as Africans. We want to produce. We want everything to run normally.
I mean, who are you to judge? You can do whatever you want in your house, but is it fair to go to somebody's house and tell them how to be? I don't know. Now, is this the same man that says Xi Jinping is a dictator? Now, how many wars has Xi Jinping started? That's a big question. What's a dictator? Somebody that thinks he's stronger than everybody, right? Somebody that dictates and his rules. Nobody stands against his rules. I mean, as much as we talk about democracy, is America really democratic? It's a big question. Do you think your vote really matter? Or do you vote some people that actually vote laws for you? Can you actually really vote for yourself? It's a big question. The bottom line is America is the country that instead of stopping war in Ukraine, they are sending weapons for people to continue to fight. The goal is you can continue to fight provided that our companies make money. America is the country that is pushing for that war not to end because as history tells us, Putin with Ukrainian, with the president of Turkey, had already come to a conclusion to stop the war in Ukraine. However, until the Western countries, the Western nations, supposedly democratic countries and dictator countries sent the people saying, no, you must continue to fight. The war is continuing. So Ukrainians are losing people, but you're making money from selling guns. Okay. Yeah. Why? Because those companies, those guns companies, those weapon companies sponsored you to become president. Because those gun companies sponsored you to become politician, a governor. That's America for you. That's democratic for you. America is the country that went to Iraq, supposedly because they saw weapons of mass destruction.
I take the threat very seriously. I take the fact that he develops weapons of mass destruction.
Where are the weapons of mass destruction? We're still looking for them. Saddam Hussein is not there anymore. Who's going to bring him back? Who's going to bring him back? And President Bush himself said, well, we're still looking for the weapons of mass destruction. Who's the dictator? I mean, I ask myself, who gave them the right to do that to Iraq? With no proof. After they came to the United Nations, we have proof from intelligence. Now they say, oh, intelligence was wrong. We're sorry. Where is Saddam Hussein after so many people lost their livelihood? who's dictator? Okay, Gaddafi did everything he did. They took him out. Who's the dictator? It's a big question. So America is arming Taiwan. Taiwan is a country that, according to history of Chinese, Taiwan belongs to China. And Chinese believe Taiwan should come back to China when times come. Now America is in Taiwan, spent training Taiwan soldiers. They've offered a program of training Taiwan soldiers so they can fight against Chinese in case they come. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby sidestepped a question about the Chinese response later on Thursday and focused on a part of the reporter's question. He said the president was feeling very good about the content of the discussion. So they asked him, how do you feel about what the president said? No. He avoided that because it doesn't seem right. Joe Biden said, I know the man. I know his modus operandi. Looked into his eyes, we have disagreement. He is different. He has different views than I have in a lot of things, but he's straight. I don't mean that good, better, or indifferent. He's straight. The bottom line, fellas, is you cannot have a situation where there's only one strong person, one strong man who rules over everybody. It doesn't work. You need to have a balanced society where power is not just within one person's hands. And I think, unfortunately, the government in America right now don't like it. They don't like the fact that Chinese are capable. They're very much capable. I mean, look at China. China is a country that, after so many years of discussion, so many years of miscontentment, so many years of trouble between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia and Iran used to be some of the most vicious enemies, okay? And America created a petrodollar based on fear. I'm sure we're going to understand this. When Saudi Arabia and Iran did not get along, America sent its people to Saudi Arabia saying, however, we see you've got oil, gas, or petrol. You and us can make a deal. Okay, we're going to send our soldiers here to protect you. We're going to send you weapons. We're going to send you support. Provided that you only sell your oil or gas or petrol only in dollars. Okay, so we're going to provide you support and defense against Iran. But provided you only sell your oil or your gas or your petrol, or whatever you want to call it, in dollars. That's what gave the American dollar the power it has today. So everybody in the world, in order to buy oil or petrol or gas, depending on how you call it, especially petrol, okay, brute petrol, everybody has to exchange the money from the currency to the dollar, then to go to Saudi Arabia and buy. So if you use shillings, you need to change your shillings in dollars, or rands, change them in dollars, then go to Saudi Arabia and buy petrol. And keep in mind, whenever you change your currency to dollar, you lose the value of the money. If you had 100,000, by the time you exchange it in dollars, the value is not 100,000 anymore. The value is down 90,000 perhaps. That's what gave America the power, the financial power that it has today. Now, America needed Saudi Arabia and Iran to keep being enemies in order to stay in power, right? So you have to have fear of something for me to protect you. You have to stay in fear of an enemy for me to provide you the service that I have. So the service that I have are based on fear. Your fear. You know what the Chinese people did? Chinese people went, they double-crossed America. They called Iran and Saudi Arabia. They sat them around the table and discussed and had negotiation and understanding. Yes, they understood each other. They said, okay, we're not going to fight each other anymore. And that empowered that region. And that took the power away from America. So China came into the Middle East and called Iran and Saudi Arabia and said, you know what? You don't have to fight each other. Sit down and find a discussion. You Muslim and Arabs anyway. Guess what happened now? After Israel went to Gaza and bombarded and did what they did with the support of the United States, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and many other countries in the Middle East have gone to China asking for support to be the mediator. You hear that? So basically in time, people will go to America to be the mediator because America was perceived like, that big brother that's very intelligent, that big brother that has a solution to everything. But now they have purposely chose to go to China. They have gone to China to be the mediator. That's a very strong message against the Biden administration. And I'm telling you. So Biden says Xi Jinping is a dictator. Is it a way to push people away? I don't know what dictator is. I think somebody can stay in power for 30 years, provided there is roads, there are food, there is things, there's money, there's abundance. I mean, why would you want him off? The Queen of England was a queen for many, many, many years. I know some of you will say she was not political. Oh, duh, trust me, she had things to say. Officially, she has nothing to say. Officially, yeah, but behind closed doors, you have no idea. Nobody complains about that. The kings and the queen, why are the kings? What's the use of them? Do you think just use them to business? No. So it doesn't really matter how long somebody stays in power. I think provided he is provided the country is moving forward, provided things are okay. Who says democracy is for everybody? Who says that? Democracy was important to many other places in the world. Africans were not democratic. They were happy before the Western countries came. Many places in the world were very happy before they brought them democracy. We saw what democracy have done to Afghanistan. We saw what democracy have done to Iraq. We've seen what democracy have done to Syria. We see now democracy in Palestine, Gaza. We saw democracy in Libya. What is democracy? Xi Jinping is a dictator, so he's a bad man because his way of thinking, he runs a country that's different than ours. Well, I'll say get used to it. We don't have to be the same. We don't all have to be the same. We're different. We have different religions. We eat different foods. I mean, you like perhaps macaroni. I don't know. I like fufu. That's my food. We don't have to eat the same thing to be respectful to one another. China is a threat. China come to Africa, provide things. China is in Africa, say, okay, I'm gonna build roads for you. Okay? How much road do you want? Okay, what can I gain from you? You sign the contract. Everybody respect a part of the contract. Everybody's happy. Western countries come to Africa. They say, okay, we're gonna give you money. We're gonna give you 300,000 to help HIV people. But you must allow men to do that. If you don't do that, then we have an issue. So they come, they don't just support you into building, they don't do any of that, but they want to teach you how to live like small children. They want to tell you how to spend the money. If you ask them for money, they want to tell you, okay, we're going to give you 100, but in 100 you need to hire this constructor, you need to hire that expert. They're going to dictate to you how to run your money. China doesn't do that. China give you the money, do whatever you want to do. By the time you need to pay, just make sure you have money in the bank. Thank you very much, fellas. I'm not saying China is better than the US or anything. I think Africans need to be free and make their own decisions like adults. But it's just outrageous seeing, Joe Biden say this guy's a dictator, as if they've done just good things in the world with democracy. Let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. God bless.